Hey guys, you're about to listen to a conversation between Dre Manning and myself. He's a friend of mine. He's a rap artist from Bronx, New York City. He's somebody that I have collaborated with. Had it not been for the radio show that I had with him, Double D's may have not even been a possibility. So if you hate Double D's, Dre is partly to blame for that. I also want to let you know that I was using my second microphone and I wasn't aware of the pop on it, so my voice is very much lower than Dre's. And third of all, Dre is premiering a record that he has dropped just a few days ago. I'm going to play this record for you right now before the conversation, and you can either drop a comment in the comment section below, or if you'd like to be featured on the channel, you can send me a video review of the record, make it a 2-minute video, and send it to d.podcast@gmail.com, d.podcast@gmail.com. All the information will be in the description below. And now, Dre Manning's Live from the WestSide. Enjoy.
Aesthetic.
Coming live from the west side, coming live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the straight out of hybrids, they call me Dre Manning. This world domination, these niggas is day planning. Yeah, I got the sauce, boy, I got the sauce. These niggas have stepping me to knock it off. You wasn't with the struggle, you get nothing from me. Fuck all the weak shit, dog, we ain't buddy. I put my hood on my back, how dare you take it from me? I was doubting myself, now I got them screaming, go Dre, this is your day, this is your world, live it your way. Got your baby mama in my backseat doing role play. Mix the Polly with the Say, now that's Coldplay, okay. Stay dressed in the designer. Nigga, play stupid if you wanna. Came a long way from them hybrid streets, but you know what I represent, G. Coming live from the west side, coming live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the.
Know what it is, man. Boy books, man. We bringing that heat on the streets, nigga. We bringing that heat on the beat. You know what I'm saying? Fuck with my boy.
This call is from a federal prison.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no stopping this now. That motherfuckers done fucked up. That shit done let it sit. Game is over, you heard? No, man. Live from the west side, man.
Look. OG Ave, nigga, home in the corner dwellers and cab dippers, Henny sippers and grass hitters, heart of the hallway, neighbors calling police, such a long winter, summer pop outs, my niggas bring the dropout, my nigga now I'm whipping the raw, I swear to God I'm missing you, dog, I can see you now, Dookie braids, Christian Dior's, no talking, you start laughing and you dip out the door, I mean, damn. How many more can we lose? Lost pan party in 7, I'm only naming a few. Book 7 in the can, Nas double the figures. On my mama, man, I'm missing my niggas. We used to play the late night, you know, bloodin' and crippin'. Love is love, not the tour in a mission. Couldn't wait till we got it clicking. Now I'm controlling the vision. Dirty Bronx nigga, who are you kidding? Go Dre, this is your day, this is your world, live it your way. Got your baby mama in my backseat doing role play. Mix the Polly with the Say, now that's Coldplay, okay. Stay dressed in the designer. Nigga, play stupid if you wanna. Came a long way from them hybrid streets, but you know what I represent, G. Coming live from the west side, coming live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the west side, live from the west side, coming live from the motherfucking live from the. I feel you, Dre. I really do. But see, man, A nigga like me, man, I love the West Side. I love the game, man. I be feeling like one of them ball-playing niggas, you know, like Chef Curry, King James or something. Yeah, a nigga got though, a nigga could lead a league. But if I leave, the fans still gon' love me, man. I got love out here in Hopkins, man. From 161 all the way to 171. From OG Ave to Murderversity. It's always live. West Side. I got love for my niggas, I wanna see them win. My niggas is killers, to let you live is a deadly sin. We chasing profit, the product of being dumb and broke. I chose rap, my niggas, they chose weed and coke. What a life to live when you need currency. Fuck the future, we trying to live currently. I preach to them, but they stuck in their ways. I'm talking stocks and bonds, they thinking Glocks and bombs, that's SOA. Well, that's a story, you know. I made it out the hood, still had nowhere to go. My heart lingers there, my body dwindles away. Forever rapping, man, what more can I say?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have a special treat for you today. In my studio / apartment, I have an individual who I've worked with in the past.
Forever and ever.
A strapping young man, and I do mean strapping, a strapping young man who I used to do radio with in Brooklyn, New York City, as I've told you guys before.
Yep.
He is a rap artist.
Producer. Scriptwriter, director, father, all that shit. Black man. I'm a black man, too. Can't forget that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Highbridge, New York
Highbridge,
City.
New York City.
Dre Manning.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What's going on, man?
So I wanted to bring you on because, I mean, obviously we've known each other for a few years. We used to work together.
Mm-hmm.
You have projects coming up.
Yeah.
February 27th, you have a release of a song.
Yeah, I'm dropping my single live from the West Side, February 27th.
Right.
I'm actually excited for it. I feel like it's something that I worked really, really hard on. And I think it's going to be pretty well received. I feel like that's the most commercial shit to say. Like, I worked really, really hard on it, and I feel like it's going to be well received. No, I think the fucking record is phenomenal. So, and I think it's a very great representation of where I'm from, and that's the west side of the Bronx. And if you're from the west side of anywhere, whether it's the West Coast or the west side of Detroit or Philly, wherever, you'll be able to relate to it.
Right.
And it's pretty chant-worthy.
It's chant-worthy? What do you mean?
I mean, the chorus, like the chorus is like pretty fucking chant-worthy.
Right. Well, are we going to be able to play this on this?
Hell yeah!
Okay.
Hell yeah! We can play it at the end of the podcast.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do that.
Okay, cool.
We'll do that. So Dre, I met him through someone else that I used to deal with musically and and through other things, friendship wise.
Yeah.
Because when I wanted to do this radio show in Brooklyn, I don't even remember the first conversation that I had with him, and I don't even remember how.
Yeah.
Like what the transition was, like, oh hey, because
yeah.
you don't, because I don't really your.
Yeah, radio wasn't really my thing, and I was incredibly like uncomfortable when we did the show. If we could go back and listen to all of that audio right now, I'm pretty sure I sounded like shit. But radio was never really my thing. I think what it was, when that friend of ours introduced us to each other, I wanted to do this thing called Rebel Music Radio. Okay. And that's when he told me, you were trying to do some radio shit and we should work together. I think that's what it was, because that's what RMR at one point stood for. So it was like Rebel Music Radio, and that's how we connected. Where we went from there, I think it was like one phone call. We met up. Went on a date or two.
He courted me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we did our thing. And then, next thing you know, like, we had this radio show on the station in Brooklyn. And I was terrible, bro. You were the backbone of that show.
That I was.
And I hated you for every fucking moment of it.
Well, look, the way we used to do the show was basically, I guess it was sort of like a morning zoo radio. You familiar with the concept of a morning zoo radio?
No, explain it to me.
Morning zoo radio is sort of just like when you tune on radio in the morning.
Okay.
And you have the host, you have the co-host, you've got the female, and you've got the DJ. That's pretty much the format. At the time when we were doing it, you didn't really realize it, but that's basically what it was. We weren't very morning zoo radio. Normally, it's very it's very energetic. Like, hey, what's up, Dre? It's D.respect here, and it's 5 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah.
That's how they do it, but that's not really how we did it because we always did it at nighttime.
Yeah.
But no, I think the show was very good. I don't think you were shitty on the show because what you would do is you would be sort of the facts guy. So if I said something,
I would Google things. Yeah.
Because you were always very good with showing me details about something, like something on social media. It's like, oh hey, there's with news because we used to do a news segment as well.
Yeah. But I was getting the news from like the most shittiest place ever. I think it was like I'm not gonna say what it was. So it was just like from these websites where it was just like. The news wasn't as great as what we made it seem like. Yeah. I think our discussions were more important about like the issue compared to what we were actually reading and what I was actually finding. But it was fun. Ultimately, it was fun. I think we made like a lot of mistakes and we learned a lot of new things. Absolutely. And I think eventually, like when we all parted from the show, I can't just say I parted. When we all parted from the show, I kind of like found my voice. You know, I was an artist the entire time that I was on the show. I just wasn't ready. So like literally, we stopped the show. I think like 6 months after we stopped the show, I got on stage. Boom, I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. And I just got things clicking. You know. Was I known by Dre during that show? Or was I known by Dreamer? Dreamer. Okay, so then even that like kind of had like a change because I started telling people stop calling me Dreamer or Dreamer and call me Dreamer. And I kind of fell into this world of being like this conscious rapper. I was like, yeah, man, I'm a fucking conscious rapper. Fuck yeah. Coming outside wearing cardigans and fucking fedoras. And I was like, yo, this shit not me. like as I got older, I started to realize that wasn't who I was.
Do you think that was due to your influences, what you were listening to at the time?
Yeah, it was due to the influences, and it was also due to me wanting to hide that side of myself. So like, all right, I parted with you guys. We stopped doing the show. I tried to find myself as an artist, but I wanted to separate my personal life from my artistry. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go by this name Dreamer. I'm going to wear these stupid ass cardigans and fucking ties while I'm on stage. And I'm going to get up there and say peace and love, everybody. But like the reality for me was like, I'm just this kid from the Bronx, who was gangbanging, selling drugs, raised by a single mother who was dealing with mental health issues and had a father who didn't even want to claim him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hit all of that shit. And then I was also dealing with insecurities, not insecurities of like physical appearance, but insecurities of like, can I really make something out of this? Can I really do this? Right. All while still trying to do it. So as I got older, and I just got more comfortable with myself, comfortable with my music, comfortable with my artistry. I just said, you know what? I can't be Dreamer or Dreamer anymore. I just need to be Dre Manning. I need to be the person that my mother gave birth to, and be that person 100%. And I think even though I felt like then I found my voice and I found who I was, it wasn't until I said, this is who I am and I'm just going to be myself that I found my voice, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's with any artistry. It always takes a while because I think it's impossible to separate who you are from what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge sometimes because I think that the problem when we do the things that we do, we tend to attach ourselves too much to what we do, and the whole process becomes to be like an acknowledgement. Like, can I separate who I am from what I do? Like, that's the challenge because, you know, your ego can get mixed up into it, and it's really an internal thing that goes on. So I mean, I understand what you mean. When we were doing the show and you transitioned in, in a lot of ways, like I believe in momentum.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in momentum that you can, just off of feeling good and say, for example, you're exercising and somehow that can lead to momentum into something else that you want to channel through.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's I guess it's all about understanding that it's all mixed into the same pot and it's, and it all means something. What would you say is your style now in contrast to the way it used to be? Like, your subject matter would basically be
My subject matter is my story, like whatever, you know what I'm saying, like, and it could be just within this moment. I can walk away from this show right now and create a record about, like,
Oh yeah, go ahead and walk away.
you know what I'm saying, like,
Walk away right in the middle of the interview, man.
right in the middle of the fucking interview, and just like create a whole new record. But I I try to focus on things that make me who I am. So I guess in a sense, I don't like labeling myself like as, oh, I'm a conscious rapper, I'm a street rapper. Look, I'm just a nigga who wants to tell a story, and I want to do it rhythmically. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other way that I can explain it. What makes me different? Absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? Other than the fact that this is the way I decide to say it. My name is Dre Manning, and that person's name is that person's name. The way that I decide to go about telling my story is this way. The way my voice sounds is this way. That's what kind of makes us different. But as far as like, oh, what makes you stand out from any other artist? Absolutely nothing. I'm just like every other artist. I'm out here trying to make a living off of something that I love and I truly love. So when as far as the lyricism and what's the contents of the lyrics, it's my story now. Before, it was everyone else's story. Mm-hmm. So if I mirror back, I had a record called Starlight Starbright, and it was about people that dealt with addiction, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody knew at that time I was dealing with an alcohol problem.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, and it's crazy.
This was around what years? What?
So this was 2000, maybe 2011.
We got some blue moons.
Yeah. No, see,
so
the
I
crazy.
didn't know I'm contributing.
No. Is the crazy thing is I caught on to it. Some people, you know, they don't catch themselves. Yeah. I think I'm a really big fan of looking at myself and going, "You're doing this too much, and you need to chill the fuck out." So I caught on.
Self-aware.
Yeah. So I caught on to it. So like even this right now, like I don't drink much. This is probably like the first drink I've had in maybe like 3-4 weeks. Mm-hmm. But before I was like, yo, I was stressed. I was popping a bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like drinking a bottle to the face. And I wrote a record like Starlight Starbright, off of people who were dealing with their own addictions, but never told anyone of my own addiction. Mm-hmm. You know, while now it's like, all right, I can talk about these things. I can talk about, you know, me having to watch my mother being taken away by the police because she had mental issues. I can talk about like getting shot at for my gang affiliation. I could talk about those things. Yeah, everybody else is talking about it, but I don't care what everybody else is talking about. This is my story. That was their story. This is mine. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, for whatever reason that happened to them, and for whatever reason this happened to me, we're gonna tell it 2 different ways. All right. So yeah. Yeah, and it's just honesty, just being more honest, being more not saying like, yeah, man, I'm from the streets and I'm a gangster. No, I'm from the streets and I did dumb shit. I was just, you know, a young dumb kid who was living a life.
You had a gun reference in any song, any?
Of course.
Any bang bang pop pop?
No, not any references of me saying like, because I've never. The crazy thing is,
something you witnessed or heard.
Yeah, it was just more so something I witnessed. I've never ever like let a gun off. I've held guns before. I've loaded guns before, but I've never let a gun off.
Loaded guns before, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What was that?
It was cool. It was like it was
the most immature, most juvenile question ever.
Yeah, man.
God, to pop that gun. Sir.
But yeah, so like, I mean, I've been in a fist fights. I've tried to stab people before. I've beat people with bats, chairs, and all that type of shit. But I when I first came out, I didn't want to glorify that, and then I was like, well, you don't have to glorify it, but it's part of your story. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't deny, like, would DMX be, like, would we love DMX if he never admitted he was a crackhead? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we bashed Whitney Houston for it, and she never admitted it. Like, she never admitted it. But those who actually came out and, like, admitted their addiction and talked about their demons, we loved them. People love Joe Buttons for giving up on his, like, giving out all his demons. They hate him for the insecure, childish things that he does. Yeah. But when he exposes his demons, they love him for it. Yeah. And no matter how much of a great lyricist you may be, if your fans don't feel like they know you or they can relate to you as a person, they're not going to stick around. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I view it. Like, do I want people to know me just for, yo, he has some dope lyrics and that's just it? Or do I want them to know me and see me in the streets and go, you know what? that song Sunday Service, it touched me in a way because this is the type of things that I dealt with. Like I grew up in a church and I didn't believe in the things that the pastor was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, and rather than it just being like, yo man, the lyrics on this record was hard. That doesn't do anything for me. That shit don't move me.
I've always felt like vulnerability, not to bring up Joe Budden, I've always felt like vulnerability is something like a torch that he passed down to Drake. Absolutely. Like that's something that he gave to him. And I think that's what that feud came from. That feud came from an acknowledgement of you're very introspective. I made introspective. You let me turn into the nigga that you almost was.
Yeah.
You let me turn introspection into something commercial.
Yep. The funny thing with that whole feud is one, I saw it coming. I saw it coming.
Joe definitely saw it coming.
Two, I actually went back to listen to Drake's older projects, and you can hear
the subliminals in it.
Not even the subliminals. You can hear. I'm talking about like the older stuff before he blew up and became the Young Money Drake and the OVO Drake. Okay. I'm talking about when he was just that kid out of Canada on Degrassi.
Thank Me Later Drake. Or before Thank Me Later.
Before Thank Me Later. Okay. This is comeback season. This is room for improvement. Okay. This is the times where he was literally flowing like Joe Budden's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, you can hear Joe all in his music. And you're right. Drake literally became the person that Joe wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And Joe acknowledges that and he's aware of it. I think with that situation, what pissed him off was that he felt Drake wasn't living up to his full potential anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like your big brother, like it was like a big brother, little brother. I mean, they're two light-skinned guys. Like, you know, it was like almost like a big brother, little brother thing. Like all these years, you watch me play basketball, and you finally get your opportunity on the court, and just because you've been doing it for X amount of time, you're gonna slack off? No, go hard at all times.
And at the same time, I'm acknowledging that you're greater than me now.
Yep.
I'm past whatever I'm past.
Yep. Never at any point in time. Never at any point in time did he say you're whack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said, I like the dude. I don't hate him. I just want him to do better. Mm-hmm. So if doing better means honestly, the greatest opponent that he could have had is Joe. Mm-hmm. Because it's a mirror. Yeah. It's a mirror. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you fighting yourself. That was the greatest opponent he could have, and it was probably one of the weakest battles I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, only because all he did was diss him on that French Montana song, and then maybe he took other jabs.
He didn't.
Calabasas, right?
Yeah, he didn't give him a what was the Meek diss?
Back to back.
Yeah, he didn't give him a back to back. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give him a charged up. He gave him a line, and I felt like Meek is the type of nigga that should have got a line, but the reason he got 2 songs is because of a woman. Yeah. He
was with Nicki. Might have been some bitterness about that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you like some guys. Well, like you guys get upset about things like that.
How about so what about the level of vulnerability to the extreme point? Because I think DMX is the extreme point. DMX isn't. I would say that Joe is. I'm a piece of shit. I should be doing better. I make bad decisions. DMX is. Cut me open. I don't even deserve to live. Yeah. How much of that is a self-fulfilling prophecy? If you made songs about you just not deserving to live, wouldn't it make sense that 10, 15 years from now, just like it's happening with DMX, that would be going on, right? Because it's like you're telling yourself the story, you know? Because all this stuff, I mean, this is a story. I mean, we like to say. I mean, before we turned the mics on, we were having a conversation. And you were telling me that you pay very close attention to the language that you use.
Yes,
you pay very close attention to not saying when, if things will happen, but
when they will happen. Yeah.
So if you make an album, you know, like blood and flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
Yes.
That's just like I am on my knees. I am just.
You know what you got to think about? You got to think about. The time that let's look at blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh, and think about that time. That what was that? The 90s, late 90s,
like maybe 99.
You got to think about the time that he was in. This is a young man at the time, who was already living a fast life, had parents who didn't give a fuck about him, was living young, wild, and free. All he felt like he was here was to live and then die. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all he felt like he had going on for himself. I don't think X ever thought he was going to be a millionaire. I don't think he ever thought he would see the type of money that he's seeing. I don't think he ever thought that he would go in and out. Well, he probably thought he would go in and out of jail all his life. I don't think he ever thought he would do that as DMX. I don't think he thought he would become, because he's a legend in my book.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a legend. He's an absolute legend.
Doesn't matter if he wakes. If we hear tomorrow that DMX is in a part of his own private dead.
He's always gonna be a legend. And he was already, like, his name is Dark Man X. Like, that tells you alone, like, it's not just about the color of his skin. That's the place that he was in. He was 14 smoking crack and weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just a dark individual. Does that level of vulnerability scare me? No, because that's his story, and that's the way he chooses to tell his story. Now, I think if he was the type of person to be like, all right, this is my story, this is why you must do better, and you gotta do better, but man, back in the day, I was sucking dick behind a dumpster. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, bro, hold on. You know,
I seen him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we I just called that. So, like, we love you for your story and seeing what was the end result. We don't need you to tell us and preach down to us in the sense of saying, this is why we need to do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're already doing better for yourself.
So you like this music more because he never showed you, like, okay, I came from a dark place, but you can...
Yeah.
Okay, you know who does that, and, you know, everybody that's listening right now knows how I feel about Hopsin, if you're familiar with Hopsin.
I just heard my first Hopsin record last night.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, Hopsin is a rapper who shows you this is the dark side and this is what you should do.
Yeah. I don't like those people.
Yeah, it's very difficult to be liked when you're telling people this is how you should live your life.
The funny thing is, when I try to give advice to my homies, I always tell them, like, listen, this is easy for me to say, but I understand it's hard for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not living in your shoes right now.
Yeah.
But that person that's just like, nah, man, you bullshit. You could be doing this and doing that. Like, yo, you're sitting here with me.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
Right.
Like, you fucking arrogant piece of shit. Shut up. All right.
That's why a lot of people don't like Hopsin.
Yeah. I've honestly, I just heard my first record from him. I know he's like signed to Tech 9, right? He's on Strange Music or some shit like that.
He's not with Strange Music. He's with he actually got his own label because he left his the label that he created, which is Funk Volume.
Okay.
I forgot the name of his old, and I guess
he left.
He left because he had some disputes with his old co-owner of the label.
Okay.
Because there was money that was
typical shit.
Right. So, but yeah, man. I mean, I think that you're right that vulnerability is key.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe back in the day, vulnerability wasn't really being sold.
No, it wasn't.
The main thing that was being sold was okay. The main thing that was being sold, and this is what I wanted to ask you. You know, with you're mentioning that you're bringing your story. At what point do you feel that New York City rappers? Obviously, you're from New York City. I'm from New York City.
Obviously, yeah.
The whole idea of we're the CNN of the ghetto. We're, you know, at what point should rap should rap ever get to the point where it's like, all right, you get it. There's violence in the inner city. Yeah. Or is it a thing where it's like it's every particular story, so everyone has to? It is their duty to deliver it.
I don't see. Everyone tells a story from different sides. It's those who are telling the stories from being the drug dealers. Those who are telling the story from being a jack boy. For those who don't know what a jack boy is, it's a thief. It's the person that robs people.
On the door,
it's those stick up kids. Yeah, stick up kids. Those who are coming from the side of like growing up in a household with both parents. Those who come from the side of growing up in a household with one parent. So the stories are always going to be there. Hip hop was created by the former gang members who wanted to party, right? Those are like the godfathers of hip hop. So like, you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the Africa Bambatas, the Cool Hercs, the Red Alerts, you know, like those are like the godfathers of hip hop, right? Or the gods of hip hop, so to speak. But as time went on, the inner city remained fucked up. Like wherever you're from, that's where your music is gonna kind of resonate. Like what's this guy, Yellow Wolf? He's from a trailer park, right? So his music is like that trailer park southern banging music, right? That's what he's gonna give you.
It's terrible, but yeah.
You know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and somebody who grew up in the church and like they praise the Lord to their fullest, they might give you some gospel rap. They're gonna tell you their rap from that side. But somebody who grew up selling drugs, they're gonna tell you that story. So it's never gonna be a thing of these things being, all right, this is enough, we get it, because these things are always gonna continue to happen. They're always gonna live in this world.
I guess there's so many characters within that world.
Like what's this kid? Little Dicky. He raps about being white and privileged.
Yeah.
Is that wrong? Like, is it wrong? Because he is white and privileged.
It's not wrong, but
it's dickheadish. You know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like he's a complete dickhead for it. But is he wrong?
It's not wrong, but I think it's sometimes it's viewed as kind of like he's looking at rap like it's a novelty. It's like hey guys, I'm this wacky white guy.
Yep.
Whoa. So it's a little annoying.
See,
it's not wrong, absolutely.
But
not.
I felt like Childish Gambino approached it like that at first as well. Like, it was almost like, nah, this is just for me to show you guys, like, I can rap and I can have fun. Now I think Childish Gambino is like one of the most phenomenal rappers in the game right now.
That last album wasn't even rap.
Yo, it wasn't.
He didn't rap.
It was like, yo, that shit was so funky and dope, bro.
Felt it?
Yeah. Shit, if I smoked weed, I would have rolled up to that shit and it's just like vibe, bro. But yeah. So like, these stories are always gonna be told. We're always gonna talk about the ghettos. We're always gonna talk about the drug dealing, the violence. It's always gonna be there because that's what hip hop was founded on. It was founded like literally by people who were tired of gang banging. They put down their colors and they wanted to party. Hip hop started off and it was about, you know, break dancing and having the hottest rhymes. Then it became about the flashiness. Then it became about like that gutter West Coast shit. You know what I'm saying? Then at some point they started wearing kufis and reciting proverbs and shit like that. And then it became about the South. It's always gonna go through these transitions, and I think that's what it's the. At one point, we was doing rock infused and country infused. Now we're doing like this pop infused and this EDM infused. It's a genre created off of sampling, so we're always gonna find like different ways to do this. I think what it is this whole idea that if this isn't rap, so like people would say Pitbull is not a rapper. Or Flow Rider is not a rapper.
Comes to mind, yeah.
These guys are not rappers. But like, if you go back and you listen to Pitbull, boy can spit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got some shit. Like, it might not be the most like.
They would be like Curtis. That's like Curtis Blow variety. That's like people would consider Curtis Blow to be like, well, he was just.
But like even Pitbull, because Pitbull come from like that the hood of Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's some hood Cuban dude who just happened to make things pop off of pop. But he like, there's this old Khaled record he had, and it was probably one of the hardest records I heard from him. It was just one verse, but it was one of the hardest records I heard from him.
I think you're exaggerating.
I said from him.
Okay.
From him, not ever. No. It's just from him. It's and what happens is we kind of only target the stories of struggle. And we like miss out on the people that are talking about the stories of just like having fun and just like living life.
That's true. That's lost. Because we always get this sense that we're supposed to learn something from this.
Yeah.
We're supposed to educate.
Yeah.
I've always been of the opinion of that if everybody was Kendrick Lamar, you'd be fucking bored.
Yes.
You would be bored.
Yes. I agree. Yeah. Hip hop was about fun. It was about fun. Like, I'm pretty sure the fans of your show are gonna say this guy's a fucking idiot. He's wrong. No, it's about learning something.
That about me.
Yeah. So like, I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But it was about fun. Some of the founders of hip hop were so trash. Some of the rappers from the '90s that people glorify were so trash. And a lot of the shit that was like, oh, this is phenomenal. Why can't these artists today do records like Big did with? If you take a record like Party and Bullshit, slow it down just a little bit, it'll sound just like a 2 Chainz song. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a matter of seconds, like, you do some like funky ass ad-libs on it, like some current ad-libs on it, and it could become a 2 Chainz record in a matter of seconds. Hip hop is all based off of sampling. One thing I will say I'm tired of is people saying I'm not a rapper, I'm an artist, or I'm not a rapper,
yeah.
I'm an astronaut, or I'm a rock star.
I think Little Uzi Vert, he was like, I'm a rock star.
I'm not a fan of that. And also I'm not a fan of down talking, which makes me sound like a complete contradiction. But I'm not a fan of like down talking like mumble rappers. It's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something is not for me, I don't pass an opinion on it. I'm a heterosexual man, right? So should I shit on people who are in the LGBTQ community because I'm heterosexual? And I'm not like...
You added the Q. I think the Q just got added not too long ago.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like, should I...
Man's up to date.
Yeah, should I be that person that's like... Maybe to someone else this doesn't make sense, but should I be down talking them because I'm not part of this community? I don't like. I don't listen to mumble rap. It doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means I don't listen to it. It's not.
Where is your? Are you ever tempted to maybe look? It's pretty simple. All I have to do is get a trap beat.
Yeah.
The delivery would be so simple. I could probably write this in half an hour, if that.
Yeah.
How tempted are you to just do that?
You know what? I'll keep it 100 with you. If I get a record, right? If a record comes to my inbox, I'm on like wherever I'm with a producer and they're playing me some records, and that's the vibe I get from it, I probably won't mumble, but I most likely would take like the flow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I wouldn't mind doing like, I think that would be so fun and cool and just like fun to do.
Okay, so I'm gonna start this interview now.
Huh? No. You know what it is it's hip hop has become more melodic now, right? It's all about like the melodics and the rhyme schemes. It's not just like that hard hitting, beat 'em up, butch 'em down type of shit anymore. Is there still an area for that? Hell yeah, it still exists in the genre. It's always gonna exist, but the direction that is gone is something like we used to make fun of Ja for, like when Ja was like singing and rapping on records, and now this is like one of the illest things to do now. Keep that in mind. Ja Rule.
And to be very vulnerable, because he was very vulnerable.
Ja Rule.
I cry, you cry, we cry.
Used to sing rap on records, and we made fun of him. We let 50 come in and turn around and do the same thing he was doing. And all it did is what was happening here evolve somewhere else. Now, as far as just like doing a record, like I'm popping a molly, you know what I'm saying? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to put some lyrical content into it. I'm going to tell it whatever this record tells me, I let the music speak to me. So whatever this record is giving me and making me feel like I should write and record about, I'm going to go in that direction. But one, I'm going to make sure you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. And two, I'm going to make sure it's true to myself. I don't want to listen to a record and go, yo, this shit sound like some shit Migos would do. I love Migos. I get in my moments, I have a couple drinks. Migos is the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is where I have the problem. I have the problem when people say things like, okay, if I meep an ugly woman and I'm drunk, okay, she's cute. There's no value to an ugly woman when I'm sober. People normally say things like that. Well, if you're turned up, I mean, you fuck with. All right.
No. This is what I even listen to Migos. I listen to Migos on my way here. And I'm sober. You know what I'm saying? Like, what it is for me is it's all about my mood. I don't give a fuck about nobody else and what they're going through and what's going on with them and who they think is hard. Bro, God bless the dead, but I don't want to listen to Sean Price when I'm in a mood to turn up. You know what I mean? Sean P, trust me, he got some shit.
Sean Price, shut the fuck up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he got some shit, but I go through those modes where it's just certain vibes that I want to hear. One day, I might want to hear some old Ice Cube shit. The next day, I might want to hear some Scarface. The next thing you know, I want to hear some Common. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is a good mood to you something where the words aren't going to matter to me as much. I just want something that melodically is going to put me in sort of a trance.
It's a mixture of both. So, for instance, if I'm like, you know what, I want to hear some deep introspective shit, I'm going to put on Kendrick Radio. Because I know through Kendrick Radio, they're going to give me Childish Gambino, they're going to give me Chance the Rapper, J. Cole, Absol, you know the list. I don't need to run down the whole list. But if I'm just like, you know what, I'm on my way to a show, I'm about to perform, or I'm on my way to an interview, I need to be in this kind of zone, I'm going to play, I don't know, fucking Waka Flocka Radio. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then just listen to that shit. Am I tuned into what's being said on the radio? No. I'm just in a zone. Yeah. One thing a lot of people don't know about me is right before I get on stage, I listen to One Mic.
Okay. From
Nas. I listen to that shit for like 3-4 hours straight before I touch a stage. I'm a mood music type of person. if this is the mood that I'm in, one day I might listen to all R&B. One day I was going through so much shit that I listened to nothing but gospel music. I've never listened to gospel music in my life, but I felt like my spirits were being lifted. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the mood that I was in. So yeah, one moment it might be, all right, I need something melodic. The other one is like, all right, I need something deep and introspective that's gonna make me go, ooh, that shit sound real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit sound raw.
Yeah.
I can't really put a finger on it. I personally am a person who thinks music is music. And fans are going to be fans, and critics are going to be critics, and you're going to critique it to whichever way that you want to and break it down. But I'm not going to sit down and be mad because my favorite artist isn't getting radio play. I can listen to whatever the fuck I want. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the whole idea of like, why isn't this person more? It's like, why would you care how many people listen to this? Like, personally, the person that I when it comes to rappers, who I listen to the most these days, other than the regular people, would probably be Joyner Lucas.
I love Joyner Lucas.
Yeah,
I love Joyner Lucas.
I listen to him more than I listen to Kendrick, and I don't care if
you know what like
thousands of people or hundreds of thousands or millions of people listen to him because he gives me that sort of value.
Joyner Lucas is the perfect example where he can give you a mixed bag of any type of style, right? But he's doing it his own way.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of artist that I push myself every day to become. Is I can give you any type of style, but I got to do it my way.
Flip the Panda song. He flipped the Panda song. He said, "I'm gonna kill the panda." He did that song, but he flipped it in his.
He did it his own way.
And to me, he's almost a testament that. See, I've always believed that talent is never scarce. There's always talent. When people say things like, "There's no good rappers out there," there's always been the Migos style. That's always been out there. It's just in a different. It just has a different sound.
Yep.
Now. But
fucking Too Short was doing it.
Yeah, that sort of music is always. And Too Short made a song with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So that sound has always been there. It's just everything just gets magnified every several years, but it always existed just in different variations.
Nothing. I don't believe anything in hip hop is brand new.
Yeah, never.
Like I said previously, this is a genre that was created off of sampling. So here we are now in the 2017. In the 2017, it sounds like a movie trailer. Here we are in 2017. All right, so like here we are. It's 2017. Hip hop started what in the 80s?
I think
late 80s, late 70s. All right, so now what is it that we can do that hasn't been done yet? All right, we're gonna infuse this with another genre. Did it? Yeah. Like this is what it was created off of. So yeah, you're right. Nothing is new. Nothing is new, and that's what happens. You magnify things. When the Laffy Taffy times was going on, it was blown out of, you know what I'm saying? Like when DJ Mustard, blown up. We put in West Coast music, blown up. The East Side sound, like this East Coast sound where it was like hard hitting. I'm gonna strap my Timbs on. Yo, we have people in the West Coast wearing, bro, it is hot as shit in California. Why are you wearing Timbs? You know what I'm saying? Like why are you wearing this shit? Because it was cool to do. Yeah. And that's really how things move, and it's always gonna move with people going off of trends. There's fashion trends, there's music trends, there's fucking relationship trends, man. Like at some point it's gonna be like, wasn't there at some point everybody wanted to get like a Team Swirl type of thing? Like I got a date interracially, like you know what I'm saying? Like, or like I'm gonna go get me a brother with dreads and he wears these shells in his hair. It's these trends are things that happen and they come and they recycle themselves after years and years. I think it's just funny on when people go, how come this is getting so much attention? Because it's a fucking trend. That's what happens. It's gonna be okay. Like the world doesn't end. It doesn't mean you should put all your focus and attention on hating this trend. You don't like it? Don't do it. Plain and simple. If you don't like it, don't do it. Men out here wearing skinny jeans. They wore skinny jeans in the fucking 70s, bro, but I don't know. They wore tight leather pants, bro.
See, but a lot of that, you hear that from guys who late 30s.
No, you know what's funny? I've actually heard women say it too, and I just like gotta kind of give them a reminder, like, yo, they wore tight leather suits in the fucking 70s and the 80s. What are you surprised by? And there was nothing fucking masculine about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're worried about masculinity that much, this is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're so focused on the destruction of trends and what's popular because you view that as being popular. So you view the most you view things as I'm trying to reword this. You view you look at it like, all right, this being popular, me not liking it is the popular thing to do.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So like, all right, I don't like this because it's a trend that's going on and everybody shouldn't like that. So let's make not liking this being popular.
That person is probably likely to like it when it's more obscure. Like,
I like this now. Yeah, I think this is great.
Yeah.
It's out. Nobody likes it anymore. I think this is amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's
there was this thing on fucking Family Guy where when Brian became he became something like I think a right what do you call it, a right winger, what is it? He read some book and he's like, yeah man, yeah, they're right.
Was that the Rush Limbaugh episode?
Yes, and they pointed out you just like things, you dislike things that aren't popular. Mm-hmm. You like doing the least popular thing because you think it's popular. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you know what, this is how a lot of people view this world. Like, oh, I don't like this because it's popular and everybody likes it, so I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Do you think for yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, absolutely, yeah.
Like, if you don't like something, don't let it be because somebody else doesn't like it. Dislike it because you just don't like it. It's not your thing.
I think Nas created a lot of that. I think Nas, when he was like, well, you know, hip hop is dead. I think a lot of people sort of just divorced rap. And I'm sorry to take it back to Joe Budden.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
When Joe made Who Killed Hip Hop, that is, Joe made something that's probably one of the most underrated, most seminal pieces of hip hop history that will never be remembered because of the fact that he said something in there that really resonated with me when he said, 50 started making fans look at the numbers. Whenever 50 got into an interview and 50 said, like, you know, I made 50% off that venture. And you never did. He started to break the fourth wall, and I feel like a lot of fun was taken out of it. Because now we're getting into rap not as an art form,
but looking at how much money everybody makes.
So now it's the stock market. Now it's not fun.
Yeah.
It becomes this clunky thing.
Like people who say, like, there's people whose greatest argument for I used to compare before Beans and Jay went into a beef. Yeah. I have this thing where I feel like Beans is a stronger lyricist than Jay.
Oh yeah.
I think Jay is a better songwriter, well, song creator than Beans, but I think Beans is a better lyricist than Jay. The fuck you talking about? Jay owned Rockefeller, and Jay got this, and Jay went platinum, and Jay did that. Bruh, this shit is a popularity contest. I'm talking about lyricism. Yeah. Let's remove all the materialistic shit, and let's break it down to the bare bones. Lyrically, Beans is a beast. Yeah. And the smartest thing in the world Jay did was sign the beast and contain him. Right. And it goes back to that whole thing. I mean, I think even before 50 started putting the numbers out there, because you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. Jay never really talked about how he came into the game and how he was like, he had X amount of money to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? It was just more so about like, oh, look at my car, look at my chains, look at my bitches spray these bottles. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I never really looked at it that way. Yeah. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess where it's at now is for everybody to point out like, oh, I got the most downloads, or I got the most YouTube views, or I have the most Twitter followers, or I'm trending on social media. And it stops becoming about like the artist and what you came here for. You know, what did you come here for? You came here to change the life of your family. If your parents is living in the sticks, you wanted to get them out of that, you know, that shack. You wanted to do something great for them. And it became more about like, how can I be? Yo, you don't get paid for being a trender. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get paid for that shit. You don't get any money for yeah, you might get paid off like those YouTube spins, but if you're signed to a major, you're not getting shit. Yeah. So sign you to 360 deal. Yeah, like we've been. I think it's safe to say we've been friends for a while. We've been friends for quite some time, and even then I wasn't great on social media, and even now I'm not big on social media. I feel like I feel like the most important thing in the world for you to do is have human interactions outside of the internet. Like, it's a powerful tool. It's one of the greatest tools that was created for mankind, but it's also one of the biggest distractions.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, where people are so fixated on, let me get online, or let me see what's happening on Facebook, or let me see if the story's on Facebook, rather than like, you know what, let me get out there and just like read a newspaper, read a book, go to the park, interact with people. You ever sit on a bus or the train and look around? It's like, damn, everybody's buried in their phone.
Yeah, people watch all the time. Absolutely.
And then I get like so insecure with it that I put my phone in my pocket. Like, really?
I am not one of you.
Yeah, like, nah. I'm not gonna. I want to do the least popular thing because I think it's the most popular thing. So I'm gonna put my phone away.
So you're the contrarian.
Yeah,
you're the contrarian.
Yeah, but I forgot what we was talking about, but
yeah. Well, even before when we started, Dre's phone was lighting up because he's charging it. I'm like, you better put that fucking phone away.
Yeah,
because it's like, even if people do it, you kind of have to always be. You kind of always have to set this boundary. Like honestly, I do what I do online, but I am so like the least likely person to check my phone when I'm out and about with people. I just don't do it that much. I just don't. I don't share personal things about my life. The only thing that I share with people online is just what I do. I think anything other than that is, I don't know. I don't want to say excessive, but I just think it's just sometimes it's unnecessary, because if you keep the people around you that you keep, they know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know, they know what you're doing. They know what you're up to.
I think for me, I have an Instagram. I actually have a Snapchat. And I have like a Twitter that I don't use, and I have two Facebook accounts. I don't allow everyone to follow one of my Facebook accounts, and that's because I post like my children on there, and I have my family there, and I'm just like, you know, that's my page, and that's where I want to be personal, and I want to share pictures of like me and my kids and things like that. But if you scroll up and down my Instagram page, you'll probably find maybe 2 pictures of my kids there. And it's not because I don't love my kids. I love my kids to death. But it's like, I kind of want to keep, I'm giving you guys enough of me and my music. This part of me I want to keep to myself. I don't want to raise my kids through social media.
That's going to be a tough thing to avoid, man. Every time I see a kid and they're like 5 years old and in a carriage and they got that iPad straight to their face.
Yeah.
There's no,
like,
I almost feel like this. I mean, you let me know, because you're a father.
Yeah.
I almost feel like if you have a child, you're almost doing them a disservice to disconnect them completely from the machine. Like, they have to. These are going to be the measures of by which they get hired.
Yep.
You know how familiar they are, how comfortable they are with the
I'm a make your own decision type of parent.
Okay.
So, unless it's something that they're watching that I feel like is inappropriate, I don't step in. My fucking 4-year-old is familiar with Snapchat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's familiar with it. He can go into my phone and get on it and like we'll post a Snapchat video. And he knows how to post a Snapchat video. And he's 4 years old. But and the crazy thing, to kind of balance that out, I made sure he's like a really smart 4-year-old at the same time. You know, he can spell, he can read, he knows how to count. He can, he knows how to do all the necessities, all those little necessary things. Then there's the kids who that's all they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, look, I'm gonna do this, put it on Instagram. I want to go viral. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, I at the same time, I want to be able to give him that freedom to learn these things, and whether he likes them or not, and use them or not. But you're right. At some point in time, social media will be things that they get hired. I mean, people were getting hired to handle things on social media right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your social media experience? How many followers do you currently have? Like, why is that part of a job application? Because it's something important in the workforce right now.
I had a conversation with somebody today who eventually it was at my job, and they told me and my coworker, this was a black man, and he told me,
shout out to you, black man.
Yeah, he said we're whiter than we are black, because we were having a Trump conversation.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, because the way he was talking, it was it was kind of like, it was just like victim. I don't endorse victim mentality. I don't endorse what's going on in the world right now where people are just like, oh my God, the sky is falling. I get it why people might be hysterical, but let's not take it to a crazy extent. So this guy was basically saying, oh, he tweets. You know what I'm saying? He tweets. And it's like, okay, I understand that there's a danger in the fact that he tweets because he can be very, random. But this is how people are communicating. The things that he tweets is fucking moronic. I get that. I understand the context of it. But it's like, why is that criminal for the person who's going to run the free world? Now, I mean, we can obviously agree, back to when we were talking about the radio station, that it's a different world from when we were on the radio station as far as social media. I mean, what we used, I think AIM was in the other radio station.
We had AIM, and this was
MySpace.
This was the early stages of like Twitter.
Right.
So like we were using Twitter. Actually, the reason my Twitter has been open for so long is because of that show.
Because of that?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think what it is I had this conversation with some of my coworkers as well, and we were just talking about. I have a coworker. He's a young white guy from Philadelphia, just kind of getting his feet wet, new in New York City. And he pointed out something. He's like, Trump can cure cancer, and somebody will still find something wrong with him.
It's probably true.
Pointing at, he does tweet. He says some really outlandish shit. I think there should be somebody in charge of his accounts now because of the position of power that he's in.
I was telling them that I don't honestly think he's the one that tweets. I don't think he's the one that physically tweets. Because I honestly don't think he can spell that well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Steve Harvey.
He kind of like fucked up that whole Frederick Douglass thing. I still haven't even seen it. Like, so I'm going to agree with you on that one. Like, I don't think he's probably like dictating these shits.
Approves.
And then like, go ahead, do it. Yeah. As far as like, oh man, we should be afraid and we should fear this, we should fear that. Listen, I've been black for a very long time. Like, I didn't just wake up one day and say, oh shit, I'm Negro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been black for quite some time, and nothing in this society was really built for us to succeed, but it hasn't stopped me.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make me sit down and go, look, man, I'm just gonna wither away and allow everything to take shape in a way that they want it to take. And no, I'm the controller of my own life. I'm the controller of my own destiny. And he's the president. He's not the first fucked up president in America's history. I mean, I posted a picture the other day of blending him with Nixon. You know what I'm saying? Like, they used fear to get into office. They got into office, and it's something we got to deal with for the next 4 years.
How does he work for rap music? Do you feel... I feel that having a president who's a right-wing president... I feel that always serves as just easier fuel for people who, you would consider yourself that you're not a conscious rapper.
I mean, he has people like T.I. talking about, like, rallying against him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has... Well,
T.I.'s a little bit more of an intellectual, so I can understand if T.I.
Oh, no, we know T.I.'s intellectual fucking vocabulary.
Give us a T.I. word. Integrity.
You know what I'm saying? Lacking the integrity, fortitude of once my caliber has been distinguished by the democracy of...
Atlanta accent. I gotta tell, before you continue, I gotta say that I went to an Elliott Wilson event where he was. It was one of Elliott Wilson's live events where he was interviewing people.
Yeah.
And T.I. was so charismatic. T.I. is like probably a sociopath. Like, he's very charismatic, a great fucking storyteller, man.
Yeah.
Very entertaining to listen to, but continue.
But yeah, as far as, I mean, hip hop had its chance in the White House, man. We had a lot of fun these last 8 years being up there with the black man. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like Charlemagne likes to call him, the waffle colored man. You know what I'm saying? We had our time where we were able to go in hip hop. When I say we, I mean hip hop as a culture, able to go into the White House and feel like, you know what, I'm part of this. And it was a great 8 years of feeling like, yo, I'm part of this. I'm part of this nation. And being part of hip hop and coming from where I come from, I'm part of this nation. But I mean, it's back to normal now. It's back to the place where hip hop is looked down on, and having rappers come to the White House is something that's not. I mean, come on, they called Common a gangster rapper.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he did poetry that day. You know? So it's like it's back to the norm where hip hop goes back to the bottom of the barrel, and everything else is what's beautiful in the country. I mean, can I sit down and moan and complain about it? Yeah, I can, but will I? No.
Would you consider ever making any records? Any?
I have records that talk about. I have records that talk about just the state of how people of color are treated. You know, how we are treated as less than. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been stopped and searched. I've been harassed by police officers. It hasn't happened in quite some time, but it could be because I spend a lot of my time either at home, in the studio, or at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be because the places that I once hung out at, I don't populate anymore because I didn't feel like dealing with the harassment. But then when I do go over there from time to time, these are things that I'm aware that might happen. So I have those records. I have a record called like Nigga Mentality. Like, you know, all right, this is how they view us. Maybe we need to uprise against it. I have those uprise records, and I'll always create them because, like I said before, I didn't just wake up black. I've always been black. I've always been, you know what I'm saying, I've always been this dark-skinned brother. I've always been Adrian's son, and that's always who I'm going to be. And I'm always going to have to deal, unfortunately, with the things that come with being a person of color. I'm going to have to deal with the stereotypes, the misconceptions, the prejudices, and the racist actions that are created by those who oppose who I am, and what I stand for. I'm okay with that. And I'm always going to create based off of that. Now, will every single record be like this? Let's rally together and march. Nah, because that's not all of my story. It's a part of it. It's part of the story, but it's not everything.
And again, that's what most people would say. Like, oh, that's what I want to. That's what I want to hear, man. Yo, let us hear some real shit.
And then and then some real shit though. Some real shit for that real shit is then they don't buy it.
Oh, okay.
They want to hear it, but then they don't buy it, or they don't come out to a show. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to be negative Nancy, but it's like, this is what you want. You have those that are catering to you. What Kendrick said? If y'all want a real hip hop, then Killer Mike would be platinum. Like, don't pretend. You ain't gotta pretend. If that's what you wanted, these artists that
doing pretty well.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, but these artists. These artists that are giving you and catering to you and these styles that you want, their shows shouldn't be at some little rinky dink hall. It should be at Madison Square Garden, because that's what you wanted.
See, but to me, that's always been a combination of the casual fan and the hardcore fan. I think the reason why you're not gonna hear Joyner Lucas perform.
Joyner Lucas is gonna be big.
You think he's gonna be?
I think Joyner Lucas is gonna be big. I think Joyner Lucas is gonna be up there with the Big Sean's, the J. Cole's. I think he's going to be big. Like,
see, to me, when you say that, it's not even a question of his talent. To me, it's just a question of promotion and you know.
This is true.
This is the question I want to ask you. How much do you feel that this whole machine, the way it's set up, social media, all this stuff, what is your... Like, how do you feel about publicists and hiring people to sort of contribute to this? Is this something that you feel is necessary, or do you think that just the independent wave? Because I mean, I don't know how Mac Miller.
I know he's a white kid. Man.
Oh, okay.
Like, come on, he's a white kid. I mean, because even Chance the Rapper, his dad's marketing company or like public relations company is the ones who helped Obama get elected.
Chicago based. Really?
Yeah. So is it good being an indie artist? Yeah, you have more control. Is it good having a machine behind you? Fuck yeah. Because you have so many things moving, so many pieces moving, while you're that center cog, and everything is moving around you and making sure whatever everything around you does, it's to benefit you. So having a publicist...
More likely to go in debt, though.
More likely to go in debt,
yeah.
But you got to be smart about it. See, the thing is, you can't just be a rapper or a singer or whatever the fuck you are. You can't just be that. You got to understand your business side of it as well. Because at some point in time, you're going to say, you know what, fuck it. I don't want management anymore. I'm going to manage myself. I'll just get a booking agent. Or maybe, you know what I'm saying, like, know what your expenses are going to. Yeah, you most likely will have an accountant, but understand your books. Understand what you're paying and what not, what hasn't been paid. Okay, cool. You want to get a publicist? What did you do on your own before you went and got a publicist? Because I went that route as well, where I had a publicist, but there wasn't much that I did on my own, so it was harder for my publicist to get me on things. And I'm pretty...
Right, because the frame of thinking is, okay, I can just sit back.
Yep. And I'm pretty much looking at it like, yo, if I can guarantee you $800 a month for your retainer, and that's being like a minimum, I can guarantee you this much, and you can't guarantee me to get on these. Yeah. Yeah. Like if you can't guarantee to get me on these places, why should I give you money? But it's because I'm not working hard enough to get on these or get close to these places or get on the places that you have access to where you can use this as leverage. Like, look, he's already been on a Two Dope Boys or this or that. So why can't we get him on Revolt? You know? So yeah. Sometimes you need to start on your own. You need to build up that steam. You build up the steam, and then you slowly start bringing on the cars behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you can carry that weight. You make sure you got your videos, you got music, you got this things going. You got all these things going. You can't just be someone who wants to do it. You have to do it. Mm-hmm. And if you're just going to sit around and say, I can't wait till this happen, no. Go make it happen. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck is going to hand it to you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could sit down until you blue in the face and talk about like how this person got this going and that person got this going and this person got this going and that person got that going. What are you doing? What are you doing as an artist, as a creative, as a whatever, to help yourself get to that next level? There is 365 days in the year. And I know this sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but there is 365 days in the year. Eventually, you got to get up off your ass and utilize 31 of those days and go hard. And go hard. You mentioned something earlier. You said you believe in momentum.
Yeah.
You said the momentum from the show kind of could have translated from what we was doing on the show to me being on stage and things like that. I believe in momentum as well. I did my first interview preparing for this record in December, towards like the end of December, right? And I remember telling them, I was like, this is not going to be the last interview, and I'm going to have consecutive ones after this is done. Mm-hmm. Bro, today's what, February 3rd, 4th?
Yeah, 4th, yeah.
In the last 32, 34 days, I've done about 13, 14 interviews. This is a person who has no, like, I can't really benefit off the stuff that I did previously, so I'm a new artist. Yeah. I'm a new nigga. I'm that new nigga now. 13, 14 interviews. How the fuck I pull that off? By emailing people, getting up, emailing people, making connections, asking for favors, and just going out there and doing it. And the momentum has built up so much that my January was so packed up that now my February is packed up. Mm-hmm. And then my March is going to be packed up. So now I'm turning that momentum into how can I get on stages? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I get back to performing? Because I'm a phenomenal performer in my eyes and in many others. So how do I get back on stages? I can't sit down and wait for someone to give me a handout. I got to go out there and get it. It's a hustle. This shit a hustle. And if you don't hustle, you don't get nothing. Mm-hmm. You going to be that nigga sitting down like, man, I remember back in the day, I used to do... No, I can't be that person that's talking about back in the day. I want to talk about right now.
There's so many questions. You know, when I do the Double D's podcast with my co-host Dom, you know, we ask people to send us questions on Snapchat, and the funny thing is that on Snapchat, basically anywhere, and you know, and I used to do an email segment and the most reoccurring question that always comes in, and I'm sure anybody who does something, you know, for public consumption, can say that the most reoccurring question that you always get is, how do you get motivation to do things? People always seem to ask how. And I think the question that never comes to question is why? What would you consider to be your why? Like, why do you get up in the morning? Why do you make records? Why do you perform? Why do you do interviews? Why?
My sanity. My sanity. I tried to go a few years without creating, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I said tried to go a few years. I barely made it a few months.
Okay.
I came into this place where I was just like uncomfortable and I didn't know how to vent and really get these thoughts and emotions out, to the point that I was bottling everything up. So that's why I create. Is because that's my best way of expressing myself. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at on a how do you stay motivated, you gotta keep in mind, I wake up to these beautiful little kids every day.
That's always a reminder.
It's always a reminder. And it's not because of our living condition. It's not because of any of that. The crazy thing is, it's because one day they're going to want to quit doing something that they really love. And they're going to look at me and go, Dad or Dre, I want to quit. And I'm going to go, nah, you can't quit. You can't do that. But you love music. Can you quit?
Right. You can only do that. You can only tell them you can't do it if you were consistent enough to not quit on it too. Right?
Exactly. Your children measure themselves by you, whether you notice it or not. I hate calling him my stepson, but it kind of helps like people understand. I met my eldest kids when they were 6 and 7. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, I had my actual first son, my firstborn, my biological son, when I was 25. So my elders kind of are watching every move that I make. So there's occasionally, like, when I wear my beanie, I roll it up. My eldest son rolls his beanie up whenever he goes outside now. I wanted to learn to play an instrument, so I bought a saxophone. He goes to an all-boys school that requires him to play an instrument. Can you guess what instrument he plays? A saxophone. And he found out that I stopped wearing my glasses because I have on contacts. So he wants contacts now. And within that moment, I said, yo, everything I do, he's watching me. So, you know, like, even on this run, like this promo run of me going around the radio stations and podcasts and different places, I took him with me one. And I was like, I want you to come see me work and see what I'm doing. And he stood there just taking pictures and reading his book. And just like, he was in love with that moment. So how do I stay motivated? Is me knowing that one day they're going to want to quit on doing something. And if I quit right now, that tells them it's okay to quit on something you love. It's okay to
pay attention not to your words, but to your actions.
To my actions. So I can become a multi-million-dollar fucking executive TV producer tomorrow.
But they gain anything from it. All
nothing.
They look at is, but you gave up on
music. You gave up on music. Right. So that's how I stay motivated. And why I stay motivated is because it's part of my sanity. I'd lose my fucking mind if I quit tomorrow. I don't believe there's any ceiling in when you're an artist. You can go as high as you want. You can do this for as long as you want. If you feel it in your blood, you feel it in your bones, create. Don't let somebody dictate how you move. Who the fuck are you? Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Before this, we were having a conversation about you being able to do. You can rap when you're 50.
Yep.
Rap when you're 50, when you're 60.
Yep.
All you need is a microphone and your voice.
Yep.
If you're mute, then
you figure it out. Yeah, like
sign language. Hey, you can make that cool. You can make that a new trend. That's something that's ever been created.
Yeah, that should be ill as fuck. You watching like a sign language video?
Just killing it.
But yeah, like there's this thing like, oh, I gotta make it. I used to believe I gotta make it before I turn 25, and then I turned 25, and I was like, fuck. Alright, I'm giving myself until I'm 30, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm nearing 30, and I'm like, you know what? I'm rejuvenated. I might be nearing 30, but I feel like I can go with the best of them. And that's because I'm seasoned and I've learned so much and I have so much more that I can do and create. So why would I just back out and quit right now? Well, how do I explain that to my kids? Like, one day they wake up, there's a bunch of equipment in the crib, and the next day they wake up, it's all gone. How do you explain that to children? 'Cause children ask a lot of questions. And it's like, okay, cool. So you quit? I'm dropping out of school. I think about like some weird shit. Like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm quitting school. I'm quitting this. I'm quitting this family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna quit because you quit. Right. I don't want that to be the basis of their existence. That because I quit on something that I truly love and I've loved since I was a child, since I was a teenager, that is going to be like, all right, fuck it. I could just quit on it too. It's one thing to quit on a hobby. It's another thing to quit on a passion. You pick up hobbies every day.
Are you familiar with Les Brown?
Les Brown?
Les Brown, he's an old motivational speaker, black dude.
It sounds familiar.
You've probably seen clips of Les Brown. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with E.T.
Yes. Everybody knows E.T. Yeah.
Dre, let me tell you right now. I gotta tell you right now, Dre. Yeah, listen to me, Dre. So Les Brown has this. He's talked about like the worst thing that you could have before you die is sort of the ghosts of all your ideas, just standing over your deathbed and saying like, we could have been manifested.
Yep.
But you chose to not do. So ultimately, yeah, it's a thing with the kids, but it's an internal thing. I feel where it's like it's not only within your kids, but it starts within yourself. It's like I can't let these ideas die because when I let
100%.
these ideas die, then that's when their hope and their the way that they perceive challenges completely changes.
I have this thing that I say every once in a while is that I refuse to die where I grew up. And that's even if I move and I didn't accomplish the things that I set to do, I died where I grew up in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, you're right. It does start within me. And then it kind of translates within them because that's my legacy. You know what I'm saying? So like that, they'll always be looked at like, oh yeah, Dre was your dad. Yo, he was dope as a rapper. Yeah. And they're looking at him like, man, that nigga quit.
Yeah.
And then I don't want that feeling of sitting down on this like proverbial deathbed and I'm looking at these ghosts and like, shit, I could have did this, I could have did that. But it also goes back to just applying yourself. Like, am I truly gonna apply myself and make this happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that invest in you emotionally and spiritually, and that's a kind of debt that you can't pay back until you actually do what it is that they invested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody can give you $1 million right now. You'll find a way to pay it back if you're not like MC Hammer or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but those emotional investments, those time investments, you can't pay that back because once it's invested, it's gone. You have to do what it is that they invested in, unless you just want to be a disappointment all your fucking life. Right. That's the illest shit in the world, bro. It's like there's people who don't even look at shit like, yo, my man D.respect put so much attention into like doing this shit for me. He had me on his podcast, and I know he has this great following. I could have fucked up his following. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he had me on a podcast. He put me on his platform, and then they just let the shit dwindle out into space. Right. You've been trying to get me up here for the longest, but you was like, you gotta have something going. You gotta have something going. You gotta have something going. Now we got something going. I can't let you down. Right. This is getting kind of gay, but I can't let you down, bro.
Oh, no, you know what I'm saying? No problem with that.
Yeah, no. Shout out to the LGBTQ community. But yeah, you know, like it's one of those things. Like now, I'm like, all right, now, you know, I mean, I know you by your government, but like now, D.respect is someone I have to like make sure I pay it forward what he did for me.
Value, give somebody value back.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's I guess you could say it's like 50% internal, 50% external, or maybe it's a little higher. Maybe it's 75% internal and 25% external.
I would say mostly internal.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing when you're a creative, I know you guys have been listening to me all this time talk about just like being a creative. I'm pretty sure plenty of you are, but the scariest thing of being a creative is how you're going to be received. If people are going to like you, if they're going to support you and listen to you. The fucked up thing we do is we disregard the ones sitting right there cheering for us the entire time.
Oh, that can happen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, people don't fuck with our music, B. They don't come to the shows. But, like, your girl is giving you her debit card to go buy that new outfit. Yeah. Your homie lets you record in his fucking basement. Your brother gives you the feedback on the records and be telling his homies to go listen to it. Yeah, everybody's not flocking to the shows, but there's people that support you. And by saying nobody fuck with you and nobody support you, it's disrespectful to them. Yeah. There's motherfuckers that want to see you win, but you so focused on the people that don't want to see you prevail. Right. You don't know if nobody wants to see you prevail. Like, you're not in a position to have haters yet. Mm-hmm. Not for this. You might have some haters because like you might be like the baddest chick in the world, or you might be the most handsome nigga in the world. And, like you got some haters like, yo man, this nigga getting too much pussy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you know what I'm saying? Like
we need to put a stop.
We need to put a stop to this. But like with your artistry, nobody cares.
Yeah,
you got to make them care. Mm-hmm. But the ones who do care, you got to acknowledge that they care. When you make your mom sit down, listen to that record talking about bitches and hoes. Realize that's your mother listening to it.
Your mother listens. You had to listen to the music.
My mother used to listen to my music and then make the people who came into the building listen to the music. She'd pull the mailman into the crib. She'd pull when she was getting like her cable fixed, and she made them watch like my YouTube videos. And the crazy thing, I used to run around saying my mom's don't support me. My mom's don't support me, but because I don't live with her, I didn't know she was doing that until one day my brother called me and said, "Mommy supports you." This is what she did. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, wow.
Right. Guess
who feels like a jackass? You know what I'm saying? Like you, and I think that's another thing. If you have parents that support you, you can excel even further. If your parents don't support you, that's when your insecurities start. Because you're like, damn, my moms don't even support what I'm doing. As soon as you realize you got support from mama love or from your dad, oh, you gonna excel. All of the greatest artists, their parents were in their corner, supporting them 100%. Those, yeah, I'm gonna still stick with it. I'm gonna say all of the greatest. Those who didn't have their parents, they had someone that they truly loved. It could have been an aunt, an uncle, a sister, a brother, or a significant other. Bars.
You said bars?
Yeah.
Did he
bars.
just put a period on his statement?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I believe that's exactly what he just did.
Yeah.
Dude, so you have the Hello, My Name Is coming out when?
Yes. So I keep saying August because I don't have an exact date. Okay. I mean, I keep saying summer. I'm sorry. Damn, I just gave you guys a day. I mean, a month. I keep saying summer because I don't have an exact date yet. As far as how far it's completed, I'm going to say it's about 75% done. You've heard a lot of the records that's going to be on it. Coincidentally. Because they were, initially I had a project coming out called 1435. The mind state I was in during that recording.
So it's 1435.
1435 is the building that I grew up in Highbridge. 1435 Ogden Ave. That's the building I grew up in. I lived there for over 20 years. And, I had a project coming out where I broke it up into 4 EPs. It was 14, 30, and then 5. I decided to scrap that whole project idea, but take the most solid records and go, you know what? Let's do this reintroduction. So Hello, My Name Is becoming the reintroduction to those who know me and the introduction to those who don't know me, utilizing Live from the WestSide as the lead single for it as well. And it's pretty much, it honestly just needs to go through the mixing phase. I keep recording more records for it, so I might have to go, all right, no, this can't go here, that has to go there. Because if I hear a record, I really feel it, I'm gonna cut a record for it. You know, I'm not the person that's like, let me record. I cut records in hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in days. Hours. Let's get these feelings out and let's put these records together. Now it's time to stop like harboring all these records and just like, oh yeah, when the time is right. Nah, the time is right. The time is right now. Yeah. You know, I think I'm building up a lot of momentum right now, whereas it's weird. Like, people don't believe you're working unless they see it on social media. Mm-hmm. So like now I'm getting these weird texts. I share all of it, but now I'm getting like these weird texts like, yo, bro, you're working, you're rolling. Mm-hmm. Yo, you got this going. And I'm like, yo, the beginning got to meet the end, my nigga. The means got to meet the end. Yeah. Like, I can do all this shit in January and February. If in April and May nothing has come out of it, I wasted my time.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's an example of time being wasted. I mean, I just think it's all a part of the process. You know what I'm saying? No,
I get that. But you should also have a point with this. Mm-hmm. You should have a point where you're just like, all right, I said January, February, March, right? By April and May, I should be on stage performing. I'm not saying I should have a record deal. Okay. I'm saying I should be, yo, Dre, I want you to perform here. I want you to perform here. I want you to come perform here. That kind of momentum should be going. Okay. So then by September, October, it's like, Dre, I want you to fly out here to perform, or we want to pay you to come perform and do this, rather than me reaching out to promoters and trying to get on the stage.
Open mics.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, just preparing yourself for those things. Set these benchmarks. What are the benchmarks that you want to make? And if you're going to set them, make sure you follow through with them. Make sure you create this timeline. I know we as creatives hate to work with schedules and agendas and things like that, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you got to put yourself in check in order for you to get something going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you aren't going to give it the importance, no one else is going to give it.
Nobody.
Like, if you're the type of person that you say, okay, it's important to go to the bar and have a drink when I know I have work to get done, well, guess what? The world is going to give it the exact same importance that you just gave it with your decision to go to the bar. You know? And it's not to say that, oh, you have to be this rigid person, that it has to be work, because I think you can definitely burn out.
Yeah, definitely.
You can definitely burn out.
Sometimes you got to step away from it and just live. Yeah. You know, but never.
It throws into the pot of the story.
Yep.
You having those human experiences, it just can't be all about the work. It just can't be all
like
about
what,
the work.
like every New Yorker and American likes to say, never forget. Like, never forget. Just never forget what you came here for and what you're set out to do. Because the moment I had someone ask me, like, all right, so you're dropping this record on 27th. Are you sticking with it? Are you sticking? Are you back in? No. Are you sticking with music? Are you really stepping back into this realm? Or are you going to drop this record and then disappear again? And I had to sit back and like really reflect on myself and go, oh no, I'm back. The mind state that I was in when I was trying to drop music, I wasn't prepared for this. And it was best that I did step away. I learned myself at 25. I had to understand myself as I grew older. So learning something and understanding it is two different things.
Oh, absolutely.
So once I felt like I understood who I am and what it is that I got to do, I realized I have to be a little more selfish. In order to be selfless, I need to be selfish. I really got to start looking at things from a realistic view and going, this can happen, this can't happen.
What's in the bracket of this can happen? What's in the bracket of this can't happen?
Exactly. And are you asking me this?
Yeah,
or
I'm
you?
asking you.
So
I've been asking you questions this whole time, Dre, just in case you have
no. So something that can happen is, like in this moment. All right, cool. I can record these records, shoot these videos, get on some stages here in New York City, maybe Philly, CT, and Jersey, right? What can't happen is right now is I can't afford to fly to South by Southwest in March. Okay. Because I'm still working on building something up here. So let's not put all my eggs in one basket and try to fly out there and compete with everyone else who's trying to do something and focus on what I got going right here. What can happen?
Build that bus.
Yeah. What can happen? I can get my hood. I can get Highbridge behind me. That's something that can happen. What can't happen right now? I can't get the world behind me. Not yet. I gotta build from where I came up at. And just looking at those things. I can focus on myself right now. That's what can happen. I can't put together like a collective or a group of people like I previously did and try to focus on everybody else. I have to build up myself first, get myself into position, make sure Dre Manning is the priority, and then some point in time I can work on that collective again. I can work on bringing those like-minded individuals together and creating something strong and monumental. But right now, that's not something I can do. Yeah. And
which is a very big challenge as a creative, because it's like the just like you said, like with the structure and with the scheduling, being pragmatic is like a bad word when you're doing something independently. It's a bad word. It's like, oh my God, no, I don't want to be practical, because being practical means I'm not gonna. It's like we always like to have this idea where it's like, no, anything is possible. Yeah. Yes, in the sort of abstract sense, yes, everything is possible, but we have to be realistic within.
Yep, within this realm.
Yeah,
the crazy thing is, I think that's what makes it easy for people to not do something where it's like, oh, I don't want to be boxing, or I don't want to do it to this timeline. That's what makes it easy for people to become lazy and kind of. I don't want to say stable, but stuck in this one realm of just like, oh, people are rocking with me. They know my name. Yeah, but what about the people that don't know your name? Yeah. You get so focused on those who know your name that you realize there's tons of other people out there who have no idea who you are. Like, Bro, there's people out there that don't know who Jay-Z is.
Really?
Yeah, like
I feel like you could have used another name.
no, it's so crazy.
Very
Like
difficult.
no, I'm talking about. All right, maybe they'll know his name. Maybe they know his name, right? But if Jay-Z came and sat in a room, they're like, "Yo, man, who's this guy?"
Yeah.
And then they hear, "Oh, it's Jay-Z." Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like how Oscar Robertson, I think he at one point walked through a Knicks arena and nobody knew.
That's possible. That's definitely possible. Yeah.
But that's the big O. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
So there's always work to be done.
There's always work to be done. There is never some moment where you're just like, all right, I got this clicking. I don't need to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
No, you. If I got a record deal tomorrow, right, I still got work to do. If I sold 1 million records a year after that, 6 months after that, fuck that. That's not even all a year. 6 months after that, there's still work to be doing. I still need to have the same hunger and curiosity. Is that the right word? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that I had before I got that deal. There should not be any moment in time that I let up, because the moment you let up, you're out. You're gone. You know what I'm saying? So there is no room to say, okay, I'm great already. I can just leave it at that. I know I'm great. I acknowledge that I'm great, but I also acknowledge that I need to work hard. And I need to work harder than myself. Not harder than you. Not harder than the next person. I need to work the hardest that I've ever worked. I need to work harder than I've ever worked in my life. Right. I'm not measuring my success by you. I'm not measuring my failures by you. These are my successes. These are my failures. I'm measuring by myself.
That's the biggest tool of hindrance when you start to be like, well, how does my life compare to this person?
Yeah,
that's the quickest way to.
You don't evolve based off of what somebody else is doing. You evolve based off of what you're doing. You get better based off of what you're doing and what you're doing to get better. Whatever the fuck it is that you do, in order for you to get better, you got to do more of it.
Is a record that you had there was King in the title. Give me.
Huh? King's Grace?
King's Grace.
Yes.
Okay. So you had a monologue in the song that I definitely agreed with, where you described what a king was.
Yes.
What a king was. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, yeah, cool.
A king was sort of like the acknowledgement of you have your own kingdom. I have my own kingdom.
Yep.
Everybody has their own interpretation. Everybody has their path. And I definitely agree with that. I agree with the idea of because, as I said, it's the biggest trap that people get themselves into. Whatever it is that whether if they're sitting in a cubicle next to one person, or if they're doing something of a creative endeavor, whatever the fuck it is that they're doing, the biggest trap for a person is, I want to compare myself to the very little that I know of other people, and the very little that they show me, because people only show you what they want you to see. So it's a very big trap to do that, and I would agree with that. Like that would be the definition of somebody who is the master of their own universe. Somebody who acknowledges your path may be, in your case, we haven't talked about it yet, but you like to suck dick. For money. And it's okay. And that's your path. That's not my path.
Yeah.
But it's your road. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No judgment here. LGBTQ community. All that stuff.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Pause.
I don't think it's coming.
But yeah, definitely. I used to approach records and be like, nah, I can't write like this because this is not how Lupe would do it. You know what I'm saying? Or I approach a record like, nah, I can't come on this record like this because Kanye didn't do it this way. Or I can't dress this way because it might be viewed as this. And instead of just saying, man, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times I walk out the house without my head shaved knowing I have a bald spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's times.
A huge one that I'm sporting.
Yeah, right, there's times where I'm just like, and this is just honestly the growing within myself and just sitting down going, why am I so concerned about all of this going on around me, right? And it's going on around me, and I'm just this speck in this earth, kind of like not even gravitating around it, but revolving around. All this stuff is revolving around me, and then I'm revolving around it. But how does it really influence what I do on a day to day? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a friend, my boy. Shout out to my boy Lou Dynamite. Lou Dynamite actually is the guy who taught me how to like shoot and edit video. And I did that as a hobby, and I remember at one point I felt myself getting envious of him, and he's someone I look at. He's like my brother. You know what I'm saying? He's doing like these Dave East videos, a bunch of like up and coming artists. He's some other shit I can't mention right now. Like he's doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, damn, bro, I wish that could be me. But I realized his story is his story. My story is my story. He's been pursuing being a director for years. I do it as a hobby. The only music videos I've directed, I was on a call with him. So why am I concerned about what things are happening for him? And he's someone I know his story. So now, how do I apply that to those who I barely know? Like, I don't know Kendrick. I don't know J. Cole. I don't know none of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know of them as artists and whatever Wikipedia information that's up there. Right. So how can I sit down and go, look, I got to do it this way because this is what they would do? I don't know what they would do. I just know what music they put out and what it sounds like. So the moment I stopped comparing myself to those, I remember, I think it's still in there, but like in my bio, somebody like compared me to like Common and Early Lupe. And I think I removed that altogether in my new bio. Like, I don't want to be compared to somebody. I feel like those comparisons made it okay for someone to want to listen to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, I relate to these artists, so maybe I will give Dre a chance. Nah, fuck that. Listen to the music. Mm-hmm. If you like it, you like it. Like, I don't need a cosign in a sense of what you like in order for you to enjoy what it is that I'm doing. I don't need the approval of those who've already made their successes or the thought of an approval from them because of your comparison. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this sounds like some bullshit right now, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm done with comparing myself. Like, there's people who would get their hair done, or women who will get their hair done and go like, yo, I think this is that Rihanna style. Or I think this is that Beyonce style. And then there's dudes that like, you know, they do certain things like, yeah, man, this that shit Cam would do. You know what I'm saying? Nah, why?
I mean, which I think is all about. I mean, as teenagers, I mean, I see a lot.
Now
of
there's grown-ups doing this shit.
Yeah, well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah,
but teenagers, obviously, you see. I mean, you see teenagers all day walking around with the Odell Beckham Jr. hairstyle.
Yes,
you know, and I think that's a part of just growing up and just figuring out your own path. Mm-hmm. Really sad when you get somebody who's in their late 20s to 30s to 40s doing that. I mean, that's a conversation for another podcast.
Yeah. It's all about finding yourself. Yeah. Once you found yourself and you can't let anybody shake you loose of that. Mm-hmm. Comparisons are created to make someone feel at ease. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, man, I like D.Respect. He reminds me of George Carlin. Mm-hmm. That's because they want to feel comfortable with liking you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it is. It has nothing. You and George Carlin are two complete. Even though, because I know you're a fan of him, so this is why I put that out there. See, I remember these things, man. I think. Even with someone saying that, you're like, you know what? I feel honored. But how I look at it is like, but does that make you feel comfortable with listening to me now? Mm. Because if you didn't have anything to compare me to, would you still listen? Yeah. Would you still be fine with it? And maybe that might be like some like fucking asshole shit to do, but why not ask those questions? Why not have those thoughts? Mm-hmm. Because we live in a society where it's like, yo, you should check this record out. Why? You like Taylor Swift, and I feel like this would be perfect for you. What? Why? So I like Taylor Swift, and that's it. I don't need to hear that because it reminds me of her. You know? Mm-hmm. It's all about putting people at ease. If you put somebody at ease, what was it? Remember that movie with John Leguizamo with the numbers thing? It was the trees were killing people. The trees were sending out like this toxic thing into the air.
Oh, is it the one where they were like trapped inside a supermarket?
Yes, and I think Mark Wahlberg was in it,
like
and they kept
knowing or something. Like that.
I think so.
Something like that.
And John Leguizamo was like, I'm gonna just give out some numbers, but because people like numbers and it makes them comfortable, and that's what comparisons are. Mm-hmm. It makes people comfortable. It makes people feel at ease. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sort of just sticking their toe into the water, like, all right, this kind of sounds like this. All right, feel comfortable until you just completely dive in. And,
yep. Yeah. Yo, this remind me of some J. Cole shit. This shit hard. Mm-hmm. Damn. Okay. I'm honored, but do you like it because it reminds you of J. Cole, or do you like it because you like it? Mm-hmm. But we'll never know. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, dude, I mean,
what we can do right now. I don't know what came first before the chicken or the egg, but I think we can get into this Live from the West Side track. Right. Tell us any backstory, any detail about this that you haven't mentioned.
Well, shout out to the producers, Aesthetic and Cloud. It's Live from the West Side. It's dropping 2/2/27. There's no really deep story behind it. It's just some really fun shit that I had fun creating. I probably listened to some Migos right before I did this. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoy it. Live from the West Side, produced by Aesthetic and Cloud. Dre Manning, Creative Collective Worldwide, Dirty Bronx Niggas, High Bridge Representative. I'm out of here.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.